Hi. This year will be my 35th year gaming with RPGs and wargaming and all sorts. But it all started in 1984 with someone that had done the comic strips for a local or a paper doing Judge Dredd. And from that, he actually introduced me, and everything that I've done all stems from Fighting Fantasy and this one book, which is The City of Thieves. This one's a really battered copy. I'm going to get myself a fresh one because it's in a real bad shape. But yeah, it all started from this amazing book, and yeah, it's just been a wonderful ride from from there to where I am now. Back then, he did end up reading it through. Obviously, I was about what? Let me see, 10. Just before my 11th birthday. He read The City of Thieves to me and a few others. I remember the money being, gold piece being stolen, and eggs being thrown at someone in stocks, and the guards. I remember that. But from this book, The City of Thieves, I ended up playing a few sessions of Dungeons and Dragons. Now, this would have been, because it was 84, it would have been the first edition of Dungeons and Dragons, but I remember very little. It was one of the things I do remember is we took a donkey with us, and the goblins, because it ended up on a trapdoor, the goblins stole the donkey with all the food, so he became a bit quite hungry for a bit, but then it got returned, and remember somebody going in berserk rage for some reason. I have to remember, I think gnolls and goblins, I believe, or kobolds maybe. But yeah, it's been a long time, 35 years. But from there, I mean, my interest really grew. I mean, at the same in that year, I think I watched it was the Lord of the Rings, the animated Lord of the Rings. It really threw open the doors for me. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, a magical world full of orcs and dragons and all sorts. I mean, it was just mind blowing for the time I seen it. And yeah, I've been gaming ever since. Haven't really stopped. I mean, in the 80s, it was basically these Fighting Fantasy books here, like this one, Phantoms of Fear, which is one of my faves actually. And this one's actually quite unique. You wood elf, and you've got some sort of dream control, art of dream control, which I think is really interesting. But yeah, I mean, it has been pretty amazing for me to actually that year. I mean, 1984. I mean, you must have had some of the best films ever, because it was sort of Gremlins. Beverly Hills Cop was Never Ending Story was another one. It's a hell of a lot of really good quality films made then, and really, I mean, from that year to actually go from actually being a big fan of the Fighting Fantasy books, which I still read from time to time, not as much as I did when I was a lot younger. From literally The City of Thieves to running a gaming convention for 2 years, created and ran a gaming convention for 2 years before I stepped down other people take over, have taken over, and now it's grown, it's bigger, it's better, it's got a lot more professional. So I'm really pleased about the way how things are turning out, and it's the first year with it, with the gaming convention in a hotel. So Concord's going from strength to strength now, and they've just had their fourth year. Now they'll be going into their fifth year, and I'm really pleased and proud of that, of this gaming convention. And it's not just that. I mean, even after that, I sort of like gone from the gaming convention to setting up and creating a games club, which is Quickfire Games Club, which I run locally here. So that's been actually interesting and wonderful for me to do it. Actually, the gaming club idea I had in my early 20s. I knew at some point I wanted to do that. Back then, there was nowhere near the confidence that I got now. And now I've got the confidence, to run a games club. I've been doing it almost a year. In May, it'll be a year old, and the gaming convention 4 years. So really pleased with them and proud of them both. It has just been really amazing. I mean, I just can't believe that it has been 35 years. I started with Dungeons and Dragons, and I played other games, Call of Cthulhu. What else have I played? The Shadowrun. I actually only got to play that recently, but I read the Shadowrun book actually in the early part of the 90s. Only got to play that only recently, only in the last year. Mutant Year Zero. I've got plenty more. I mean, the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay as well. And that's just the role-playing side of things. Obviously, because of the getting involved with the gaming back in the mid-80s with the guy that introduced me to gaming. I mean, he's showing off the miniatures as well. I mean, because back then it was a map he laid out, and there was the miniatures as well, which had a load of which is now classic miniatures brought by from Citadel and other places, and they would seem crude to me looking back, but at the time they were pretty good. So yeah, it is really is an amazing ride for me. To be honest, due to that, I'm sorry if I sort of like ramble a bit, but due to that, also I got into the wargaming side of things. That came a few years later through Games Workshop. I started seeing the magazines, which I started buying in '88. It went till December of '89 up in Bristol that I started going to Games Workshop, and I brought there a few games like the Dark Future and a Blood Bowl, originally Atmosis Technicus. I don't think I pronounced that right. The obviously the Space Marine as well, so it's epic. All that I ended up getting back then. All that, and I mean, and I haven't stopped with the wargaming actually since I started going up to started become a member of the Lincoln Barnes Club. That I've actually spread my wings away from GW and more into historical gaming, but I do play other games as well, like Gaslands, I played a couple of games of that, 1 or 2 games of that. I'd like to actually play that more, and I got the rules for it. I know there's another set of rules coming out later on. Yeah, I'd like to do all that. Oh dear, the light. Sorry about that. So yeah, that was the other game that I got introduced to was Car Wars. I still find Car Wars is a really great game. The only thing is, it is very small little tokens and stuff. I believe they're working on a new edition of the game. I'm not sure what's going on with that. But that technically was maybe my first board game stroke war game, because it's sort of a war game-ish sort of a feel to it. Taking out other people's cars in an arena death match, which is what we were playing. A few of us. Had a car or two and just shot each other to pieces. I don't think I did as well as some of the others, but I do remember using an oil slick and some of the caltrops sort of things. So that I do remember. Yeah, I do remember quite a bit for, playing that, but that was the only game other than the Dungeons and Dragons and the Fighting Fantasy books we got to play. I do remember he also did a airport for me, so I liked about paper planes as well. So he drew an airport for me, and he did when I actually moved out of the dormitory at the time. But he did badges for people and really nice badges. And he did all sorts. He was there for a few years and left, but. Yeah, I had a great time back then, playing these games, these wonderful games, and I'm still here all this time later, and still enjoying it. Really, still enjoying it, and starting to get back into these books. Actually, like another one, Fault of the Vampire. Still doing them. Playing more wargaming at the moment, but I'll be due to going back into the role-playing side of things soon. I did get to play the Mutant Year Zero back at Concord, which is obviously was at the convention that I created. So I did enjoy that, and I am back to the GMing soon. I will be running the Judge Dredd RPG coming up pretty soon for me. I'm just reading through the book. I'm taking my time with it. I'm hoping to play it at the Games Expo, but at the moment, due to my health, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to attend. It's sort of like that with me at the moment. I'm hoping I can. So that's what I'll be running, and I did say that I'll be running at some point the Warlock of Firetop Mountain as an RPG, and the Stellar Adventures as well at some point. I'm not sure when. I was going to do they first, but I really want to get to play the Judge Dredd RPG. So yeah, that's it basically. I just wanted to share my thoughts on running some on my memories of back then, how it started out with for me, and the things that have happened really, which has been mostly positive. It really has. I mean, as the only I had trouble a few years ago with the problem player, but other than that, I mean, it has been really great for me, and it has built up my confidence no end, especially GMing side of things. Just so I finish, the GMing side of things have really helped somewhat. Okay, my confidence has knocked down a bit because of my health and that, but it has helped for me quite a bit. The running games and doing all I've done really. I couldn't have done it without this book. She's upside down. This without the City of Thieves. If it weren't for this book, if it weren't for actually playing this book, I wouldn't have got into gaming, and there wouldn't have been no Concord Gaming Convention. There wouldn't have been no club local to me, because I wouldn't have created it. Actually, this was actually the very first book that I brought, Fighting Fantasy book. It was City of Thieves. I remember being so proud of buying it, and being so happy to buy this book. And that was back in my boarding school days. I ended up with this one, and I've pretty much collected pretty much all the books over the years. I know I've got to start filling in some gaps. I'm gonna have a good look in the secondhand shops and wherever to actually fill in the gaps. Also, I will be getting the new copy of this one, probably the limited edition if I can get my hands on it, and go from there. It really has been great. Okay, that's just about it. Thanks for watching. Sorry about a few of the mistakes I made there, but it's been quite a long video. And till next time, happy gaming.